about saving money and getting out of debt. So the first part is saving money. The first thing you should probably do is get on a realistic budget. And it's really not that hard. Actually, if you need help with it because you're not good at budgeting, you can call me and I will help you. I guess I'll put my phone number in the description if you want to do that. I actually do this as a service for people where I am compensated, so I'm pretty good at it, I think, or at least the people who I've helped think. And I also used to do that for businesses, and also statistic reports for businesses, which, I mean, if you wanted a statistic report for your personal budget, I could do that too, because I like doing that stuff in Excel. Anyway, that's besides the point. We want to get on a realistic budget. So in your budget, you have a food expense, clothing expense. Occasionally you're going to need shoes. If you have kids, they're going to grow and they'll need new clothes and shoes because they're growing. But with your food budget, first thing you should do is when you buy celery and lettuce, chop the ends off that you would usually discard and put them in a bowl of water, and it's going to regrow. It's going to sprout up within a day or two, and then it's going to keep growing. So when you start doing that, then you're growing your own food. And those just require water, so that's really easy. You don't have to go out and buy dirt. You probably have an extra bowl at your house that you can put some water in and put the bottom of the plant in. So that's really easy. You can also grow carrot tops, which if you eat smoothies, they'd probably be okay in smoothies. You can put them on salad, but I don't really like the taste of carrot tops. If you cook them, they might be less like bitter tasting, but I don't know, maybe you like that. Plus, they're good for you. So that's one of the first things you could do with your food budget is start growing your own food. Depending on the size of your family, if you grow 10 heads of lettuce and you're constantly regrowing it, then you might never need to buy lettuce again. And lettuce is usually expensive. Like when I go shopping, it's like about $3, like $2.99, $2.85 for just one head of lettuce. Or if you get the 3 packs of romaine lettuce, which is what I usually like to get, that's like $5. So that'll save you money right there. Same with celery. If you're growing your own food to the point where you don't have to buy it ever again, plus it's really easy, that'll save you some money in your food budget. The other thing is you can eat cheap food. You can eat rice and beans. You can actually, if you wanted to, you could throw corn in it, mash up the beans, and you can make like vegan or, yeah, vegan, they are vegan, unless you put cheese in it. But you can make veggie burgers. Like you have to learn how to eat cheap food. You can eat potatoes and onions. I like French onion soup. And again, if you need help with that, if you like have a list of cheap ingredients you want to buy, I make recipe videos a lot. I really love food. But I could help you with some ideas if that's something you need help with. But you could go to the dollar store, buy rice and beans, buy a bag of potatoes. I think I bought a 10-pound bag of potatoes from Walmart and it was like $6. You can make hash browns. You can make potato balls. You can make potato pancakes. I'm going to do a video soon. You make leftover mashed potatoes and you can freeze it. You could make potato bark. There's so many things you could do with potatoes and cabbage. I'm just saying, when you go to the store, buy cheaper foods. Or even like things that you wouldn't usually eat. Like most people, I don't think, eat buckwheat, but if you go to a store where they have buckwheat, you can sprout it, and then you're eating a fresh sprouted food. When it sprouts, it's like regular sprouts, like alfalfa sprouts. You have a little piece of green coming out of it, and then it's like alive. It's a good for you, healthy food. And if you buy it in bulk, or like from the bulk section, but you just buy a little bit of it just to like experiment and see if you like it or if you want to keep doing that, it's not that expensive. The same thing with spices. You could spend like 49 cents on just a tiny piece of ginger. That's not that expensive. You could do that with like leftover change, and you can use that to flavor your dishes, especially if you like Asian food. They use a lot of ginger. Also, you could dehydrate it and make ginger powder, but I wouldn't recommend doing that if you don't want to, because you can buy a big thing of powdered ginger, like a big, regular spice container of it at the dollar store. That's another thing, is go to the dollar store. You can use coupons. Know when you're going grocery shopping where you get deals, and go to a few different stores if you have to. When you buy your household items, I went to the dollar store with Robin, and I showed her, like, I always say go to the dollar store because you can get 4 rolls of toilet paper. It's cheaper toilet paper, but it's still 4 rolls of toilet paper for $1, whereas you're paying like $1.19 for 1 roll. Which one do you think is gonna last longer? So yeah, you could do that. Dish soap is usually cheaper. I mean, pretty much anything that's more than $1 at your regular store, you can buy it for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I also have t-shirts and tank tops. So if you have to go, well, clothes, that goes right into clothes. In your clothes budget, if you have growing children, you can get good quality clothing at the dollar store. Mostly socks, t-shirts, and tank tops. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say get the socks. I buy the socks, but socks with dye in it can make your feet stink, and I would really recommend getting organic cotton socks because it's healthier for your body. But with your clothes, you can shop at a thrift store. You can go to a place where they have cheap clothes. This shirt I'm wearing and the skirt I'm wearing too, I got it from the Bargain Boutique, where all their clothes are only $2 a piece, except if it's a set. Like if you get a suit set or if you get a pajama set, that's $2 for the whole set. So go to your thrift store. Buy things when they're on clearance. I need winter boots. I saw a pair that I liked last year. They were on sale for $50, but I didn't buy them because I didn't have them, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait. But you can buy, if you need shoes, buy them on clearance at the end of season when everything's going on sale. And also, at the end of Christmas, everything is going to be on sale. So you could wait until January to do some clearance shopping for whatever it is that you need. Another thing you could do for buying things, trying to get discounts, is you could download the Walmart app, and then you can scan prices in the store. I was doing that with Robin the other day as well. But I didn't find anything really good on clearance. But other stores, especially if you live in a big city like Atlanta or something, you'll have more options and you'll be able to find more sales than in a smaller rural place. So there's that. For electricity, I know you look at your electric bill, and most people think there's no way they could cut down on their electricity bill because you have to leave your fridge running, etc. But you can unplug everything that you're not using. You can unplug not your fridge and your oven. I wouldn't do that. But you can unplug your phone chargers, your computer charger. You can unplug your lamps that aren't in use. And if you do that, you're gonna see a difference in your light bill. As far as heat, I mean, if you live in a cold place, you should probably have an emergency source of heat anyway. And if you're renting, I know you can't really drill holes in your walls and install a wood stove because your landlord might flip out. But if you own a house, you could put in a wood stove. And they're really not that expensive. Even if you had a tiny one, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to get a tiny stove for your fucking 3,000 square foot house, but you could get a stove and put it in. It's really not too complicated. Yeah, I think that would be a really good thing if you lived in a place where you would need that kind of heat source, like Vermont or Massachusetts where it's snowing. If you have a big, if your electric bill goes up because of AC use in the summer because you live in a hot climate, you could possibly, if you have a basement, clean out part of your basement and make it like an area to hang out in, because beneath the ground is cooler, both in the winter and in the summer. Beneath the ground is a more stable temperature. I think it's about 35 degrees or something. It's above freezing. But but it stays cool in the summer. So if you clear out a basement for your family to hang out in during the summer, then you can reduce your AC bill, which is also part of your electric bill. What else do people spend money on? Gas. If you don't do a lot of driving around like me, then there might not be too much areas in your gas budget where you can reduce that expense. But you know, you might have to drive to the grocery store. If you live close, you might be able to walk, which could save you money on gas. But if you don't really live that close, you know, it just depends on your errands. You could like do all of your errands in one shot and then not drive the next day unless you had to, like something like that. For me, it would be coming to Vermont less would save me money on gas. But I'm not in a place where I can do that yet because I'm here, because I have to go to a funeral, which is over. But anyway, that's besides the point. So you can look at your budget, your car expense. That's another thing. If you're driving less, you're gonna have less oil changes, you're gonna have less car maintenance in general. But if you have a car loan, you can stop paying your loan, set that money aside, and let the bank come and take it away, and then you'll have enough money to buy a car in cash. Especially if you have a brand new car that's really expensive with a really high loan on it, you should definitely consider that as an option, because you can get, at this point in time, you can still get a decent used vehicle that's going to last like 3 to 5 years or maybe more for a good chunk of change if you stop paying your car bill and you set all that money aside. For insurance, you could drop to bottom insurance. What else? I said oil changes. Oh, there was something else I was thinking of with the car besides gas. I can't remember what it is. Where else do people save money? Oh yeah, your rent. That's a hard one if you have kids and a family. But if you're a single person, you could get a roommate. If you have a house, you could rent out part of your house. You could either rent it to like a regular tenant, or you could rent out a room through Airbnb and get money that way. Even though Airbnb, I think they make you like sign up as a business and you have to pay tax on it. I would look into that though. Because yeah, I don't know too much about it. I've never done it. I only clean for people who rent out their house for Airbnb. So when their guest leaves, then I go in and clean their house. But that's another thing you could do if you own a house. Or yeah, I think you can do that when you're renting too. You can sublet to people on Craigslist. They have a sublet section. Of course, having another person in your house is going to increase your utility expense. If you have a water bill, I don't know how to reduce that if you live in an apartment. I mean, like for me, when I lived in an apartment, I would just get water from work. And I also have local places where I can get water, like at my local co-op, you can go fill in jugs of water. Even though it has fluoride in it, you can still get free water there. But my work always had water dispensers, so I would fill up my water bottle when I was still there, and then I'd take it home with me, and then that's the water I would drink because I don't like tap water. Anyway, that's a little bit, well, maybe it's not irrelevant. Yeah, water, electricity, heat. Again, if you get a wood stove, you have to pay for wood unless you have a bunch of woods, in which case you can season it yourself after you chop it. But still, you want emergency heat if you need that situation. I can't think of anything like cheaper for emergency AC, except for like you take an ice cooler and you put a fan on it and you blow the cold air that way. But I don't you know, I'll be fine without AC because I live in Vermont, and I don't think usually it doesn't get too hot. I think last summer we had 2 days where it was like 100-ish, like 98 degrees, and that wasn't really that bad, because I can always go in my basement, and then you can always go swimming. So the other thing, if you have like classes for your kids, like dance class or like summer camp or something like that, you should try to find a discount if you want to put them into a program like that. Pool passes. We had a discount when I was a kid on pool passes because we lived in low-income housing, and the discount was available for everyone in our community. Like, not the whole town, but in our low-income housing complex, everyone could get that discount because we were all low-income. So there's stuff like that. You could do possibly barter with a summer camp, like go work there part-time for your kids to have a discount on the summer camp. There's all kinds of stuff. In my community in Vermont, we have a website called Front Porch Forum, and it's basically like a marketplace, kind of like Thumbtack, except it's free. And you can advertise your cleaning services, your whatever services. And then we also have Onion River Exchange in Vermont, where it's kind of the same thing, except for it's like strictly barter, and when you're in the program, they keep track of your hours worked. So like I could do 20 hours of cleaning for all kinds of different people, and then in exchange, I would get 20 hours worth of someone doing roofing. And it's not just that, like I could go help someone cook their dinner. Like I could go do whatever, give people rides because they're like blind and they need assistance getting to and from the grocery store, etc. So if you have any kind of services like that, find out what they are, where you live, and join them if that's something you're interested in doing. Because especially if you need like roof repairs and you can get that by bartering, that's awesome. That's like such a great deal. Like the fact that I could even do that in Vermont like blows my mind, because my mom's house needs so much work and she does want a new roof. But that would be like $5,000. Anyway, that's irrelevant, kind of, but not really. What else is in your budget? What's the bulk of your budget? The bulk for most people is their rent and mortgage. Am I in Woodbury? Yeah, I completely passed Whittier Road. I'm gonna have to turn around. How did I even get here? I kept driving, obviously. So, yeah, if you have a mortgage, do the same thing with the car. Stop paying your mortgage payment. Take all that cash and set it aside. And then by the time the bank comes to take your house, you should have enough, at least, for a little bit of land and maybe even a motor home, which would do good, truthfully. And of course, you could try saving money. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking now. I'm really not good at saving money, and I have a lot of credit card debt. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Credit cards and student loans. I quit my job and moved to Massachusetts, so currently I am unemployed. I have to call all of my credit cards and my student loans, my student loan servicer, and I have to tell them that I am unemployed and I have no income, and can you please reduce my interest rate and my monthly payment, even though for my credit cards, I'm gonna pay that off like that. You have no idea. That's my first goal, because when I got my student loan refund, I paid off my car, so I don't have that payment, even though I have insurance due in December. But yeah. Yeah, really the bulk of the budget is your living expense, your rent. So if you can get a roommate, do that. If you're a single person, if you save up money, get a tiny house, get a camper, get a camper van, get like a little place that you can live in by yourself, plus wherever you are, you could practice off-grid living. If you're not paying rent, like average rent is like $800 at least for a 1-bedroom, and that's usually with nothing included except for water, snow and grass removal, and usually they have a dumpster wherever the apartment is. But it doesn't usually include electricity, and a lot of them don't include heat, and some of them don't even include water. And water, where I grew up in Montpelier, is like $100 a month for a house owner. So yeah, save up money, get a tiny house, practice living in that. If you're not paying rent, you can do all kinds of things with that money. You can buy solar panels. You can do renovations on your tiny house. You can pay off all your debt. You know, you already know what you could do. What would you do if you had an extra $800 a month? I'm sure you already have some ideas. You don't need me to tell you. I feel like I'm missing a big piece of the budget. What's next to housing? Like, housing's the most expensive. And then for me, it's gas because I drive so much. But for normal people, it's probably food. And I already told you, you can grow your own food. Oh, one other thing, if you do have a little bit of money for some dirt and like good growing soil, the easiest thing probably to grow in your house is potatoes. And if you don't want them to take up a lot of space, you can get like the long standing potato. They're not called potato sacks, they're called something else. But that way they don't take up a lot of space, and they grow really fast, and potatoes are cheap. So when you buy them at the store, you just let them spud. Like, sit them out on your counter and let them spud. And then when you have the little eyes, then you plant them. So that's really easy. And plus you can learn and teach your children, if you have them, about growing food. So it'll make it easier if you're coming out to the wilderness with this. What else? Housing, food, electricity, water. Yeah, if you have a house, I don't know how easy this is for like most people, but if you have a house, you could get an extra water tank, like either the big one like we have on our camp, which I think is 275 gallons, or you can get like the 55-gallon drums and have those filled. But I don't know how much that costs, and it depends on your local area. And it also would probably depend, like if you live in Texas and there's a drought, I don't know how that would work. It sounds like it would be difficult. Oh, you know what I completely forgot? My favorite thing, like second favorite thing, third favorite thing in the world, water catchment. If you have a house, even if you have an apartment, just put a gutter up and have it drain into a rain barrel and then filter it. If you have money, get a Berkey filter. But if you don't, learn how to filter water or buy a cheap water filter for all of that rainwater and use that. I can't believe I forgot that. Okay, water, heat, electricity, car, insurance, gas. What else is there? Clothes, shoes, go to the thrift store. I feel like I'm missing something. What else do people pay for? There's a huge part of their budget, or even a little part of their budget. Oh, your phone. If you have a phone, I switched to my cheapest phone that was non-contract because I was contracted with Verizon, and I hate Verizon because of my bad experience with them, and also because I don't want to be in a contract with anybody. So I ended up switching to Straight Talk, which you can get it for $35 a month, but that's like I think it's a limited texting and calling. Unlimited texting and calling and data is $55 a month, not including tax. So that's what I pay because I use so much data. Like, it got to the point where I was overdoing my data and then calling them every 2 days to buy more data, and I was like, I just need to switch my plan. This is ridiculous. If you have cable, you could get rid of that. If you have any subscriptions like Hulu and Netflix, you could get rid of that. And you could watch YouTube videos, so you're not completely giving up your entertainment. Or you could go outside and play on the playground and worship the Most High. That's my favorite thing to do. If you have magazine subscriptions, I don't think even anyone reads magazines unless you're in a doctor's office. But if you have that, you could get rid of that. Any other type of subscriptions, and then again, just couponing in general, or downloading apps where you can get discounts. I know if you eat McDonald's, you can download the McDonald's app, and sometimes you can find like $1 deals on things. Oh, when we went to Walmart, we did find a t-shirt for $1, but I couldn't find it in the store. But if the places you shop a lot, check and see if they have an app and if there's a discount part of their app so that you can scan the barcodes in the store. What else? I don't know. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I covered trying to reduce your interest rates. Oh, if you have outstanding medical bills, you can also call the company who you owe money to and see if they will, like, reduce it. Like, let's say you owe $3,000 for something to a hospital. You can call them and be like, okay, well, I need to get on a payment plan because I can't afford this. If I pay you, like, 1,000 of it right now, today, or, like, tomorrow, whenever, can you reduce my overall bill to like $2,600? And sometimes they'll say yes, so you could do that. But I don't have any outstanding medical bills, so that's not something I've been through. That's something I've heard of, an option. Hey, I have food in my car, of what you can do. This was free from my grandma, so if you have family, you could go to their house and eat their food. No, don't do that. I do it because I can, and also because usually I like pay for my family to get groceries. That's another thing. If you're always paying for your 20 million sisters to get groceries, or always buying stuff for other people, or spending gas to go jumpstart their cars when they need help, you could stop saying yes to everybody, and that will save you a lot of money. And then there's other things that I think are really fun, like no spend challenges. Like any kind of challenge, I'm like, oh, I want to try that. So like No Spend Monday, have you ever heard of that? It's where you don't spend any money on Monday. Or like you could do don't spend any money on the Sabbath if you wanted to try that. But I mean, I don't spend money every day anymore because now I'm in Mass, but I used to spend money every single day. Oh, I need to get gas too. Probably one thing you could do, don't sit in the park and ride with your car running when you're filming a video. That might save you some money. I just turned my car off. What else can you do? If you live in a hot climate, go out with your families to an orchard or some place like, Georgia's a peach state. Go out and pick peaches. That's probably, I don't know if it would be cheaper than in a grocery store, but I know here you can buy a bag of apples for $5, but when they're in season, you go out to the orchard and you can pick tons of them. It's a fun family activity. And it's cheaper than buying them in the store. And also when you pick them off the trees, they're not covered in wax. And they're local too. So you could go out, like you could do gleaning. In Vermont, we have a glean program where people sign up. And then you go out and you glean the fields after the harvest is over. And then all the food gets donated to the local food shelf. That's another thing. You could go to the food shelf. I don't do that because at my food shelf, they ask for your address and all kinds of other information. So that's why I don't go there. But you could go, I mean, if you're like really strapped where like my kids are going to starve, then you might want to consider doing that. But I've never been in that situation. I almost always have money to buy food. And if I don't, I could go to my family's house. Or, someone will feed me. Pretty much. I think I already, not in this video, but the tomatoes that I got for the dehydrator, I filled that like 3 times. Those were 25 cents for a container of tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. So when you see things on sale, buy in bulk if you can afford it, or set some money aside to afford it when you see something that is on sale in bulk. What else? I don't know. Let me know if I missed anything else in the comments below. Let me know if you want me to give you guys challenges, like a no spend challenge, or like a $2 snack challenge that's gonna feed a family of 5, like something like that. Because I'm pretty good at challenges, and I have a lot of good food recipes because I love food. Also, if you have a house that doesn't have gutters or an apartment, you could probably find free gutters on Craigslist. Check your local Craigslist for stuff you need. Usually they have really good furniture. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend couches or mattresses just because of lice and fleas and things like that. But if you wanted to risk it, you could go for it. A free couch would not be worth the expense of dealing with fleas. Not for me. But that's another thing. You can get furniture. You could get tables. You could get chairs. You could get gutters. You could get tires. You could get all kinds of stuff for free on Craigslist. So just check your local Craigslist. Also, check your local newspaper because, like, as far as events like summer camp and things, they have free events all the time. They always have free festivals and free activities going around all the time. The other thing you could do is you could volunteer at, like, an old folks home and, like, go color with old people. And that, it doesn't sound, well, it does sound like an activity, but that's, like, a really good, fun thing to do, especially if you're, like, homeschooling and you don't get out much. You could make it into a learning experience for your kids or something. But plus, I mean, like, old people are the coolest people alive. And they have more wisdom than me because I'm a young person. They've been around for longer. Of course, wisdom is to fear the Lord. So if they don't fear the Lord, then maybe they don't. But check your local newspaper. In Vermont, where I grew up, I lived near the Barrie Opera Theater. And that's where we have, like, performances, dance festivals, like, well, not festivals, but performances mostly. And so I performed there in my dance troupe in ballet. That wouldn't be called a troupe, I don't think, but, well, I did contemporary dance, so I guess that would be a troupe. Anyway, I performed there. Sometimes if you perform there, you can get discount tickets on other things, and you can find free things like free ice skating. They have free ice skating, like, at least twice a year. I know my grandmother's pond freezes. It fully freezes all the way, so we could go skating on that for free. Skiing, if you go, like, cross-country skiing in, like, a local park, like the North Branch Park, you could do that for free. But other places, they want you to pay. If you go to a resort to go downhill skiing, that's going to be probably hundreds of dollars. Plus, if you don't have skis, you have to rent equipment. Like, it's expensive. But it doesn't have to be. So whatever activity you like, you can find discounts to go do those things. Or a lot of times it'll be free. But if you check your local newspaper, you can try new things and you can find out about something you didn't even know you like. Look, that guy's skiing right now. Guaranteed that's free. Because I'm sitting in a park and ride. Even though there's not really a park here. But there's just, in Vermont, there's trails everywhere. And so it's easy to have free skiing, free snowshoeing. Not so much free snowboarding because you can't really go snowboarding cross country. But yeah, there's, like, good winter activities and summer activities. You could go hiking. You know, there's all kinds of things that you could do for free is the point that I'm trying to make. So let me know if this video helped you. Let me know if you want any challenges for me to think of in my head, and comment down below. And if you saw my spinach ball recipe, make those. I could not believe that they tasted like pizza. That was weird. The spices I used for that was just salt, pepper, garlic powder, and turmeric. And they tasted like pizza. And they were really lightweight. Like, it felt lighter weight after it was baked than when I was making the balls in my hands. Also, I don't know if I showed you this, but when you do it, you just go like this to make the balls. Like, you can put it in your palm and form the dough like this. But you can roll it like this, so it's really easy for kids to make those. And then, yeah, you could do the same thing with potatoes, which are also cheap. Throw some cabbage in there, throw some onion. You got cheap veggie balls, and they're delicious. And then, of course, spices are usually more expensive, but garlic powder, ginger powder, cinnamon, you can get all that from the dollar store. You can't get turmeric or cumin or coriander from the dollar store, but not almost all the spices. There's so many spices. You can get a good amount of cheap spices from the Dollar Tree. And their t-shirts are good. I like their t-shirts. Oh, the other thing about clothes is I just started sewing all the holes in my pants. So I was going to throw them away and have to go buy more. And now I don't. So that's good. You could sew stuff. And you could do projects too. My Mennonite friends, the last time I went to their house, they were braiding a rug with their extra scrap material. It's time consuming, but if you need a rug and you make your clothes so you have scrap material, it's a good thing to think about doing. Yeah, so again, I've said this wow, that's an old school cop car. I've said it a million times so far, but comment down below. Let me know if you want any challenges. I'm actually going to end this video this time because I don't know how long I've been talking, but I have to go to the after party of the funeral because my aunt just came here from North Carolina to go to the funeral, and now she wants to talk to me, and I just drove up here from Mass, so now I need to go see my auntie. That's all. Subscribe to my channel. Bye.